You've probably been playing around with AI models.
Running your prompts, getting decent answers, and somewhere along the way you started wondering, is this actually the best I can do? Because here's the thing. I spent weeks digging into Grok 4.1 fast, and what I found completely changed how I think about using AI. It's not just smarter, it's a fundamentally different kind of tool, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Grok 4.1 Fast works as an agent, how to set it up, how to prompt it for the best results, and how to run 3 real demos so you can start building with it today. Whether you're a developer, a builder, or just someone who wants to get more out of AI, this one's for you. Let's start with what Grok 4.1 actually is and why the developer version is the one you really need to pay attention to. What Grok 4.1 is. Here's where it gets interesting. Most AI releases lead with benchmark scores on math and coding. Grok 4.1 did something different. xAI built this entire release around what they call real-world usability. Better personality, better emotional intelligence, better creative writing. They even ranked it on blind human preference through LM Arena, where the thinking version hit the #1 spot in the text arena at launch. But wait, there are actually 2 versions of Grok 4.1 you need to know about. On the consumer side, you've got Grok 4.1 with thinking and non-thinking modes, basically reasoning on or off. That's the version on Grok.com and mobile. But for developers, the bigger story is Grok 4.1 Fast, which is where things get really powerful. Why Grok 4.1 Fast matters for builders. So here's the part most people overlook. Grok 4.1 Fast isn't just a faster model, it's xAI's purpose-built tool-calling powerhouse with a 2 million token context window, and it comes paired with something called the Agent Tools API. Think about what that actually means. The model doesn't just answer questions. It can search the web, search X, run Python code, dig through your files, and even connect to external servers, all server-side, all orchestrated automatically. You give it a goal, it figures out the steps. That's what separates this from every chatbot you've used before. And the reason this matters for builders is that xAI positioned this specifically for enterprise use cases. Customer support automation, financial research, document workflows. This is production-grade agent infrastructure, not a toy. Setup. Setup is refreshingly simple. Create your xAI account, add credits, generate an API key, and you're ready to make your first request. That's literally it. One thing worth knowing, xAI explicitly built their API to be compatible with OpenAI-style interfaces. So if you've already got a stack using OpenAI, you can route Grok traffic through it with minimal changes. Your first call can be running in under 2 minutes. Also, quick security note, xAI states they don't train on your inputs or outputs without permission, and request data is stored for 30 days for abuse auditing, then deleted. Good to know before you start piping sensitive documents through it. Demo 1. Build a deep research. Alright, here's where I want you to pay close attention, because this is the thing that surprised me most. By default, Grok has no real-time knowledge. None. If you ask it about something current without enabling search, it's working entirely from its training data. But the moment you flip on web search or X search, it transforms into a live research agent. Here's what I'm doing in this demo. I'm using the reasoning version of Grok 4.1 Fast. I've enabled both web and X search, and I'm running in streaming mode. Why streaming? Because xAI strongly recommends it for agentic workflows. You can literally watch the model decide when to search, see the tool calls fire in real time, and get citations embedded in the final output. And here's a pro tip. Cap the number of tool calling turns. Set it to 3 for balanced research. This limits how many loops the model runs through tools, which directly controls your cost and latency. Without it, a complex query can spiral into 10 tool calls when you only needed 3. Demo 2. Chat with your files. No vector database required. This next part will genuinely surprise you if you've ever tried to build a document retrieval pipeline from scratch. When you attach a file to a Grok request, something automatic happens under the hood. It activates a document search tool, and the entire task becomes an agentic workflow. You don't have to build chunking logic, you don't have to set up embeddings, you don't have to manage a vector database. You just attach the file and ask. For persistent document workflows, like keeping a library of research papers or contracts the model can always reference, xAI also has something called collections. That's persistent storage with semantic search across many files, configurable chunking, metadata fields, and explicit size limits you'll want to check before you start uploading. The key prompting discipline here, tell Grok to answer only from the attached files, cite specific sections, and respond with "not found" if the answer isn't there. That one constraint dramatically improves faithfulness and cuts down on hallucination. Demo 3. Structured outputs. Clean results you can actually ship. If you're building any kind of real application, free-form text responses are going to cause you pain. This is where structured outputs become your best friend. You define a blueprint for exactly what the response should look like, pass it to the API, and XAI guarantees the response matches that structure. No more parsing hacks, no more post-processing, no more, the model almost gave me what I needed, but added a random sentence at the end. But here's where Grok 4.1 Fast does something really powerful. It supports structured outputs combined with live tools. That means you can have the model browse the web, run a search, and still return a perfectly typed, structured response. That's the kind of thing that makes a production pipeline actually reliable, not just impressive in a demo. Prompt engineering that actually moves the needle. Now let's talk about the prompting moves that make a real difference. The biggest mental shift is this. Stop treating Grok 4.1 Fast like a chatbot and start treating it like an agent operating system. When you enable tools, you're giving the model authority to plan, execute, and decide when it's done. So your prompts need to reflect that. Here's the recipe that works consistently. First, define the goal state. What does a correct answer actually look like? Second, add constraints. Which sources are allowed? How fresh does the data need to be? Third, scope your tools. Restrict which domains the web search can access to cut out noise and reduce the risk of the model being manipulated by bad content. Fourth, cap the number of tool calling turns to control cost. And fifth, enforce the output format with a structured schema. When you combine all five, you get agents that are predictable, auditable, and cost-controlled. Skipping any one of them is usually why demos feel unreliable in production. Benchmarks and comparisons. What to actually trust. 11.1255. Let's talk benchmarks, and I promise to be honest with you here, rather than just repeat the marketing numbers. Grok 4.1 is ranked on LM Arena and EQ Bench 3, which measures emotional intelligence through 45 multi-turn roleplay scenarios. That's a deliberately different benchmark profile than most reasoning-first models chase, and that's intentional. Grok 4.1 Fast, on the other hand, is benchmarked on agentic tasks, the Tau Squared Telecom benchmark, which simulates agentic customer support with real tool use, and Berkeley Function Calling version 4, which evaluates tool calls in real-world settings with executable checking. These are serious, peer-reviewed benchmarks, not marketing slide numbers. That said, here's the trust hierarchy I'd recommend. Your own evaluations on your actual workload come first. Reproducible public benchmarks come second. Leaderboards like LM Arena come third, and marketing claims come last. The benchmark should tell you where to look, then you validate on your own data. Safety and limitations. Don't skip this. I know people skip this section. Don't, especially if you're building anything in an agentic setting. XAI published a full model card for Grok 4.1 with quantitative safety data. The refusal rate on harmful prompts is low, 7% for the thinking version and 5% for non-thinking, which sounds good, but the agentic variant shows higher answer rates of 14%. That gap matters if you're building agents that operate with real-world access. The other number to note, the prompt injection attack success rate is 5% for thinking and 1% for non-thinking. These aren't bad numbers, but they're not zero. And in an agentic setting, even a small injection success rate is a real attack surface if you're not designing around it. The practical builder checklist, scope your tools, enforce structured outputs to contain what the model can return, explicitly design for prompt injection resistance, and log your agentic runs. These aren't optional steps. They're what separates a demo from a deployed product. To recap, Grok 4.1. Fast is at its best when you treat it like an agent. Give it the right tools, constrain its budget, and force structure into its outputs. That combination is what makes it production ready instead of just impressive in a demo. I'll drop the exact prompts from all 3 demos and the full parameter reference in the description below, so grab those and start building. And honestly, I want to know what you're going to test first. Drop a comment, tool calling, document pipelines, or safety testing. That'll tell me exactly what to cover next. Subscribe if you want to see more hands-on agent builds, and I'll see you in the next one.